Live from the Pines, your favorite East Texas sports podcast, coming at you live. Want to give a big shout out to our guys at Zilker Belts. Use discount code PINES936 for all online orders. How are you gentlemen doing tonight?
Doing great. Unfortunate loss in the SEC championship, but Horns got a good draw in the playoffs. So we're on to the first round, then the second round, then the third round, and the national title game. Then we're gonna do one of these. Hoist that trophy.
I'm pretty good. But... Red flag. We'll get to it. Never mind. All right, sorry, I jumped the gun.
Yeah, you can do that shit all you want.
Okay,
dude, it's a great chant. I would love to get to hear it one day in person.
We'll hear it in Atlanta when we play again against Georgia. The trilogy. I'm calling it now. The trilogy is going to happen.
3 in a row. Y'all play them next year?
Now we'll play them in Atlanta in the national title.
Y'all don't play them at Georgia next year?
Oh, we do. I guess that will be the
next season.
That'll be
that's not Atlanta.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll start with the SEC championship.
Go ahead and talk y'all shit. Let's get it over with. Get it over.
We'll finish with that.
No, y'all didn't want to do that last week. Let's do it now.
No, finish with it.
No, we started with Texas A&M versus Texas last week. No, y'all insisted on. No, fuck that. Fuck that. No, you.
Easy.
Let's talk about it now.
Leave it for the week into.
No, we insist. Let's talk about it now.
Let's wait till some people get in here.
No, let's hear all the shit you got to say. Let's go, like y'all did last week. We tried to talk about it last
Arizona
week.
State and Cam Scatterbo.
No, let's hear the shit. Let's talk about it right now.
He's a real problem.
Yeah, he is. He's a tank.
He's a true freshman?
Scatterboo.
Arizona
State running back.
No, let's talk about Texas versus
Georgia.
Georgia.
You wouldn't want to meet that man in the hole.
Who?
Hell no.
Give a fuck about him?
Anthony Hill's not afraid to meet that guy in the hole.
That's the best defense in college football. You think we're scared to play? You think we're scared to play Arizona State?
Not gonna bait me into talking about it now. We're talking about Arizona State.
No, let's talk about it now. Last week you wouldn't let us talk about it at the end. We couldn't celebrate at the end. Let's talk about it now. Let's talk about how we got our ass beat. Let's talk about all the penalties we had. Let's talk about how we shot ourselves in the foot. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we were supposed to win that ball game. Let's talk about how we gave them that ball game. Let's talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
Never give us credit, Jalen. Ever.
We're going to
I don't need credit. That's something I don't need. I don't need validation. I don't need credit from anybody. I don't
know a
want
lot of excuses to make yourself feel better, though.
No, there's no reason to make excuses. We're still playing football. You're going to play in a fucking bowl game that don't mean shit. We got a chance to win for a national championship. Let's talk about it. How many times? Let's talk about it. How many times in the last 10 years y'all played the SEC championship?
That boy's hot.
There's no reason to be hot. Let's be real. Let's talk college football. Let's talk ball. Let's talk it.
We can hear you. You got to scream.
How Clemson and Dabo are going to march into DKR next week and get that ass whooped. Let's talk about it.
Cam Scatterboo had 170 yards
Saturday. Cam Scatterboo. Let's talk about Georgia. Let's talk about that backup quarterback that came in and played like a true starter.
Yeah, Dillingham.
Let's talk about that backup quarterback that came in and won that game.
Hell of a head coach.
The backup quarterback at Georgia is the real deal. He looks great. He's athletic. He can move on his feet. He can throw the ball, and he can take a hit. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, did you see what he said about the kids in the portal? He said they can enter today, but they'd still come with them from Arizona State.
Yeah.
Great coach. I mean, such a player's coach who you want to play for.
They need to fix the transfer portal. It's BS and it's open now. Like, kids are leaving programs and they're going to play for a playoff. Like, some of these kids could be second or third string. You never know, you might need them. And so, like, the 5-star that's behind 2 other kids, he doesn't want to wait another year, could get playing time. But that's neither here nor there.
They almost had like 4 or 5 starters go in the portal already today.
Yeah, like it's
Kendrick Law in the portal.
Ain't nothing finer in the land than a hating-ass 88 Florida fan.
That was pretty good. I'll give him credit. What bowl is Florida in?
Well,
go, Dogs!
It changed because Alabama didn't get in the playoffs. So I don't know who they're playing. I know they're playing.
We're playing Michigan.
No, it was going to be Michigan.
They switched it.
Alabama's
First off,
playing
Hey,
Michigan.
if we're going to talk about bowl games. It is fucking horseshit that BYU is playing Colorado.
Yeah,
we get
it's
that
pretty bad.
How does that happen? Same conference.
So stupid.
Did they play during the year?
Yeah, they did. I'm pretty sure they did.
No, they didn't.
They didn't.
No.
No.
Well,
Y'all are playing Tulane?
Yeah, Tulane. I think in the
Easily.
Gasparilla.
Tulane about to spank that ass.
Gasparilla Bowl?
Gasparilla.
Florida and Tulane, you. It's so
Huh?
disgusting. Florida and Tulane.
Yeah, it's just. I mean,
Yeah.
that's. I mean, when you go 7-5, it happens.
Yeah, get your ass whooped by Texas and A&M.
Is DJ gonna play in the bowl game?
Caleb Banks is coming back from the other year. Anyway, but we're getting sidetracked. We still have 3 other bowl games to talk about. 4, really. If you want to talk about
Oregon, Penn State.
Yeah.
Oregon
Oregon-
won by a tutty.
Yeah. They came back and made that a game.
I was shocked at how, I mean, Oregon gave up 300 yards rushing. That was shocking to me. I thought Oregon had a much better defense under Dan Lanning. I thought of course, they don't play that many great offenses in the Big Ten. They did play Ohio State, but they finally played a team that can really run the ball. I mean, giving up 300 yards rushing, and they're going to have to play the winner of, is it Ohio State and Tennessee?
Yeah, which is a bad draw for the first seed. I feel like.
We'll get to the playoff. We'll tackle that at the end. I mean, I got some. I'll save that for last. We're gonna start off with the SEC championship.
I mean, we still had the ACC championship to talk about.
No,
That actually was.
that game was played after the SEC championship. We'll get to there.
No,
We'll get to
we
that.
all know
No,
what
we'll
we're
get to
talking
there.
about. All know why the people are watching, so we're going to save that for last.
We're gonna scan through
The
these other games before we get to that one.
The ACC game was like it was.
Clemson 34-31 on a game-winning field goal with no time left.
56 yards.
Yeah,
They-
I was surprised
Yeah.
that SMU was able to claw their way back in that game. Clemson had it. I mean, they could have won that easily, by a touchdown or two. Just let SMU get back in the game, and then what
I
they
said the week
back,
before.
they
SMU
claw
is
back with 20 seconds left. They long pass down the field goal range. I mean, credit to Dabo. Finished the year 11-2 ACC champion. I mean, they lost to Georgia and they lost to Louisville.
what
10-3.
championship in 9 years or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
he had one transfer portal or not. I mean, he's won.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
mean,
I saw a video of the kicker right before he kicked it. They like zoomed in on his face and he turned to the sideline and winked. I think he's a true freshman. Like, I don't think I'd have those nuts before a 58-yard field goal to win the game. It was
58 that's such a deep field goal. I mean, I can
56.
it's probably like
56.
Yeah, 'cause they had like what 11 seconds left, and they kicked the field goal off to him. And he ran it back like 50 yards. Like special teams coordinator's got to get. He kind of blew that one. Because they only ran like one play and they were in field goal range. But yeah, SMU. I mean, they showed a lot. If they wouldn't have came back like that, they probably wouldn't have got in the playoff if they had got beat by 2 touchdowns or 3. But I mean, you can't leave them out now. Losing by a field goal in their second loss in the conference championship, like.
no, there's no way you leave SMU out in that situation. I mean, if you leave SMU out and punish them for going to the ACC title game for a 9-3 Bama team, I mean, why even go to the championship game then?
Yeah. On what grounds can you punish them for? Like, what's the reasoning behind that?
You lost another game. That's the only one I could think of. Which is, I mean, it's BS. If you make it to your conference championship, I mean, you should have just lost one in the regular season, not gone and be 10-2 and have your spot already set up. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you're 11. They finished 11-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost. They lost to BYU by 3, I think, in the very beginning of the season. Then they ran the table. I don't know. I mean, I thought the Mustangs were gonna play Texas in the first round DKR, but they have to go to Penn State, whiteout, freezing cold, Big Ten weather. What's the point spread in that game? Penn State by 2 touchdowns.
I haven't.
Can't be that much.
If ESPN has it up, let me see. Penn State -9, according to ESPN.
I think that's recency bias and how they climb back. I don't think if SMU is a good team, but the way that Penn State ran the ball against the number 1 team in the country that hadn't been pushed around like that all year, like that, it doesn't. The tea leaves don't read well for the Mustangs.
Yeah, they'll be too talented for them. Just running on them, too big.
Although SMU's quarterback, I mean,
he's a Dallas ISD product.
I don't know. I mean, credit to Dabo. I mean, that brings up another thing. Before the year, I had Clemson win the ACC. I think Jalen had Clemson win the the ACC. One of y'all had Miami.
I don't think it was me.
It was Trey, I think.
I think I had Miami, North Carolina State, and that was terrible.
North Carolina State was real bad. It could have been done better. It could have been done better. I mean,
be good, and then he retired from football 6 games in. So I mean,
I did pick Oregon to win the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, we'll get to the Big Ten in a second. Jalen also picked Clemson. So we got 3 out of the 4. What was I going to say about Dabo?
Does he
Is it
go on
Dabo's best coaching job?
do what?
I mean, Dabo, they get crushed by Georgia in the first game, run the table for like 7 or 8 games, got it going, and then they lose to Louisville. When they lose to Louisville, or was it? Yeah, it was Louisville because Miami lost to Syracuse that night, so they were already out of it. Then Miami opened the door back for them. Also, what a choke job by Miami.
They lost to Louisville 33-21.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Dabo really coached the hell out of this team after the first game when they got clobbered by Georgia. Brought them all the way back to the ACC championship game. Had to have it to get in. And now they're coming to Austin. So first time ever meeting between Clemson and Texas, ever.
Huh.
You got Klubnik versus Ewers, a rematch of the state championship, Jalen?
Yeah, Quinn Ewers. It was the Dodge Bowl. It was Todd Dodge versus Riley Dodge. Quinn Ewers was playing for Riley. Todd had Cade Klubnik, whatever the hell his name is.
Talking about the kids, not the coaches at this point. Thanks.
Not going there with you tonight, Pods. I'm not going to let you get me excited. Let me argue with you about some dumb shit. It was one of the best games. It was one of the best games in high school football, Texas high school football history. You had a father-son duo, 2 powerhouses, Austin Westlake and South Lake Carroll, and Cade Klubnik, David Quinn, and the South Lake Carroll Dragons, the Shaft.
It ain't happening again.
You had Michael Taff out there. Can we just go ahead and say something?
No, we're talking about.
Just listen. The reason you talk so much shit about Texas is because David likes him and David lets you get under his skin. If it didn't,
my skin right now.
It didn't sound like I'm under his skin right now. It sounds like
They hadn't said much.
you haven't got to your little nitpicking bullshit talking you're about to do.
nitpicking.
Like, at the end of the day, shut up. At the end of the day, you can't take away anything Texas did this season. You can't take that away from them.
You're right. They beat a bunch of bad teams.
A bunch of bad teams? Are you serious?
We beat a bunch of teams that were ranked. Now they're not ranked anymore. And then people want to cherry pick about ranked.
It's like you say, if Florida had DJ Lagway, it would have been a different ball game. Trey, they put 49 on Florida.
Yeah, DJ Lagway would have made that a 25-point game, maybe. So you just sit there and
Just be
enjoy the
realistic.
dog
Like,
shit bowl you're going to
you
go
know
play
the
in.
truth about football. You just say shit to troll.
I do know the truth about football, but look at what they've done. Do they have the guys? Probably. They said the stats on the front four has played a combined like 200 games in college football.
There we go. All right, let's talk about the SEC championship now.
That's what we were saying.
Oh, God.
No, I mean, SEC champion. The Horns fall by 3 in overtime. First quarter, second quarter was awesome. I mean, we were driving up and down the field. Quinn Ewers having a great game. Couldn't run the ball. To be
Why are you
expected.
drinking out of a straw? You look like you just look like you just.
My Stanley Cup.
No, but I mean, the first half, Texas is driving up and down the field. We're moving the ball well in between the 20s. Couldn't really get the ball going in the end zone. 6-3 at half. I mean, Georgia's not playing a good game. The end of the last play of that first half, I don't know if y'all saw it, but Carson Beck's arm, I thought it was going to get torn from his body. I mean, it just got caught right there in between that defensive tackle. I mean, he's not going to play in the first round, but
They say he tore his, like, what, UCL or something? Some shit?
something in his elbow.
Tommy John. Basically what happened.
So he'll be out for a while.
Ulnar collateral ligament.
He's
or
done
whatever.
He's done for the season.
He's done for the season.
Well,
it's
yeah,
the same
season
thing.
one game. I was about like combine and shit. You don't think he'll be able to throw?
There's not as much stress throwing a football there, so they might be able to double him up or give him something that he could play through it. But will it feel the same? No, because I mean it radiates down your arm.
Yeah.
Like, you just kind of.
But going into halftime, I felt really good about the Horns. We were playing well on defense and on offense. And, you know, Carson Beck gets hurt. Gunnar Stockton comes in. You know, continue to move the ball pretty well not in the third quarter, but we were able to move the ball, you know, decently. Could not get the run game going. Penalties are ultimately what killed us. A lot of good plays. Got called back on holding.
Picks on one drive.
Yeah, we did that. We did do that.
Forced a fumble.
Yeah, and Gunnar Stockton comes out of half, and they just run the ball right down our throat, make it a 10-6 ball game. Special teams miscues, missed 2 field goals that would have been pivotal in the end of the game. I mean, everybody. I mean,
Please go away, please.
Just eat my popcorn.
But I mean, I've been seeing on Twitter, everybody's hating on Quinn, but Quinn's not the reason we lost this game. It was the penalties and the special teams miscues. Quinn played a pretty good game. I mean, he threw a pick on the first drive that Isaiah Bond should have caught. He's still hurt. Isaiah Bond he should have been resting the last couple of weeks. He threw another pick late in the fourth quarter. Ended up, I mean, we only gave up 3 points on that one. Gunnar Stockton does throw a pick in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, and Janae Barron should have ran it back if Jalen Gilbo blocks that guy. It would have been 20-16.
What do you think that quarterback was trying to do? You think he was trying to throw it away, or he just like?
I think he was trying to throw it away.
Receivers going to be there or something.
I don't know. I mean, Janae Barron should have ran that back, and we'd have gotten one more stop and won the game 20-16. But woulda, coulda, shoulda. I would have loved to get that SEC championship in the first year, but shit happens. And I mean, the way it shaped out after we lost, like we got a pretty good draw as a 5 seed. So I'm on to Clemson, then on to Arizona State, then Oregon, and then whoever we face in the national title game, get our 5th national title ever.
I think David summed up a bunch of that game. Texas beat themselves. You want to be honest, penalties, kill you. Special teams win ball games. It's like defense win championships. Special teams win ball games. You can't go out there and, have all the false starts and the pass interference calls we had. And, there's a lot of missed calls in that game. You want to be honest, that hit on Quinn, that was definitely roughing the passer. But, you take it for what it is and you keep playing. But at the end of the day, Texas's football season is not going to end with a bowl game. You have a chance to play in the playoffs and a chance to, play for a national championship if you get there. So at the end of the day, you got a lot of football left ahead of you. You got to put that game behind you. Go into this game against Clemson, go win that ball game at home in front of your fans. And it's easy for a lot of teams that that haven't been in this position in probably 10, 15 years to talk about it. And some teams never been in this position in their career as a program, but it's just part of football. You win some, you lose some. Georgia's a great football team. You can't take anything away from them. They got a lot of guys on that defense that are going to play NFL football. Offensively, running back, he ran the ball great.
Why are we still talking about them like they played well?
Two great football teams playing against each other. I think that backup quarterback that Georgia had come in the game, I think he's a gamer. He was a 5-star recruit, dual threat quarterback, and he's able to use his legs. It's just like when Marcel Reed went and played LSU, didn't have a lot of film on him, didn't know what he could do, didn't know his tendencies and all that. And I think a lot of that's been cleaned up on a lot of people's defensive staffs. You won't be able to run the ball as effective he did. He took a shot on the 1 yard line that kid's a baller. You get hit like that and hold on to the ball.
I don't know how he held on to that ball. Andrew McCool killed him.
He's a dog. It's two good football teams on the field. That's what we want to see. We want to see great football. We got to see that in the SEC championship game. So
another thing is every time Georgia fumbled the ball, it seemed to rebound right back into their chest, and they would just fall on it. I mean, I don't know how Gunnar Stockton held on that ball, but 9 out of 10 football players drop that ball, fumble it, and we jump on it. Game's over. SEC champions, but
it just wasn't meant to be this year. A lot of ups and downs this season, a lot of injuries. You lose your starting left tackle, the biggest key of the field.
Oh, whoa.
No, that left tackle play. No, shut the hell up. That left the left tackle that came in against the A&M game, he played his ass off. He played his ass off in the game. In this Georgia game. So it's just you still lose a great guy. You lose a part of your team. That's like A&M losing Le'Veon Moss. That's the reason they say they lost to Texas. A lot of their fans, but you lose key players. It hurts. And Isaiah Bond, we hate to see him go down, but the thing about it, it's the next man up.
Yeah, I mean,
are you just? Is that what's happening? Are y'all filibustering? Can we talk now?
Oh, go ahead.
Talk about how.
Go ahead and say what you got to say. Like it's football, it's ball. It's
just
part
your
of
propaganda and it takes. Go ahead.
There's no reason to be really frustrated. You still got a chance to go play this team again for national championship. So you got to put that behind you and keep playing football.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, just keep stuffing your face, you fat fuck. Go on, finish the whole bowl.
Let me go first, Trey. You want to go last?
No, let Trey go ahead and go. Get it out. Go ahead and talk your shit.
I got to finish the bowl.
I thought it was a great game. I thought the first half, 6-3 at halftime?
6-3.
I think that Texas should have been up, honestly, at least a touchdown or 10 points, at the least. They had a lot of opportunities. I mean, I saw a graphic. I remember watching it. It was like Texas had the ball, 10 minutes or 12 minutes and had like 190 yards compared to Georgia's like 30 or something.
I think it was like 260 to like 10. I think it was much more lopsided. Yeah. I mean, we were moving the ball well in between the 20s, and we just could not. That's where the holds come in, the false starts, get behind the chains, can't run the ball, run for a loss, get behind the chains, 3rd and long. You're not going to convert too many of them against Georgia. So
the older I get, and the more football I watch and pay attention to, you don't realize how big a good punter and a kicker is.
We need a better punter.
You sit there and look at these guys, you look at these guys on the sidelines and you think all they do is kick. Like these guys have a big role to fill and have a big job to do. And, you expect those guys to come in and do that job. But it's still football. You can't point the fingers at one person. Offense made mistakes, defense made mistakes, special team made mistakes. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, you got to clean that shit up and worry about the next game and get ready to go play Clemson in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah. I think Quinn didn't have a bad game. I think he had 2 costly picks, but he threw for 350?
Something like that. I mean, yeah, he threw a pick on the first drive. We ended up getting a stop. I mean, only 3 points came off this. I mean, ended up being the game deciding 3 points, but I mean, it's not like Georgia was running it, back for touchdowns, or they were getting 14, 17 points off turnover like you saw the game in Austin where we turned the ball over and they would just punch it in for 7.
Sark was 100% more prepared for Georgia this game than he was when they played him in Austin. It obviously showed they didn't take advantage. They didn't take advantage of and abuse us like they did that first.
Yeah, I mean, we were much more prepared for the pass rush, and Quinn was much better with the ball. Kind of knew where he wanted to go pre-snap, got the ball out quickly. Did take some sacks, but he wasn't getting strip sacked like they were in the first game. I thought his pocket presence was better. You could tell he was still a little gimpy on the ankle, but I mean that loss isn't on Quinn. It's the penalties. It's the special teams. I mean our punter. I mean, it seems like he can't kick it more than 50 yards. It just seems like we're at 40, 35-yard punts.
Like the rush game couldn't get going like it usually.
No, we could not. I mean, we run the ball, and Leisner tries to bounce it and find a hole. Loss of 3, loss of 4. Get behind the chains. I mean, 3rd and longs, you're not going to do well against a really good opponent like Georgia.
Yeah, but it was a great game. Great watch.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Gather your thoughts.
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. It's your turn to speak.
Yeah, it's how you can come out with a 5 look on the game like that. I get the penalties were a lot, like 90 yards. I think it was 11-5. Georgia still turned the ball over twice. They turned it over 3 times. Can't clean up the turnovers the second time. And then they still just ran it down your throat. Trevor Etienne had 16 carries for 99 yards.
They ran it down our
They rushed
throat.
for 100. They just did. Trevor Etienne. You want me to pull up the game tape and show you? Like they just
Besides the
away.
first drive of the second half and Trevor Etienne's long run, when did they run it down our throat? That's probably 80 yards of running game right there.
I think he ran for 40 yards there. So.
I mean, yeah, it's 40 or 50-yard run. I know you're talking about that long run where he breaks it outside to the right.
For 70 more yards compared to your 30.
I'm not denying that. It's a mischaracterization to say they ran it down our throat. They ran for like 140 yards and 3-something a carry.
Almost 4. It's 3.8 yards carry.
Yeah, 3-something a carry.
4 times in a row, it's a first down every time.
I mean, that's not what happened. You're taking a statistic and trying to make it into something it's not.
What? Did they beat y'all?
No, see, now you're changing the sub. You're going against the law. You're not going to win this.
Run it. They ran it. They outfit somehow.
They did run the ball. Usually, when you play football, you do run the ball.
They ran a lot better in the second half.
200 combined starts.
Cole's, calling it for what it is. They ran the ball much better in the second half.
When does it matter?
Well, you brought it up, so why does it matter?
When does it matter?
When does running the ball matter?
Yeah.
I mean, most of the game.
Is the game over after the first half?
No, usually football games end after 4 quarters.
There you go. Having a kid go in there and still, he's going to run the ball against y'all at that time. It just, y'all didn't look clean. You didn't look good. And somehow you're the best defense in the country. You're the number 2 team in the country. You beat nobody.
You not realize how good Georgia is?
I'm not arguing that they're not good.
Yeah, I mean, that last play, you're right. When Carson Beck comes in with a limp arm.
You put up 20 against Arkansas. You put up 17 against Georgia. You put up, I think it was one other time. Another 19 against Georgia. But against an okay defense, y'all haven't played that great.
No, you're right offensively. We hadn't played that great against Arkansas A&M. I'm trying to figure that out. I mean, earlier in the season, the offense was clicking a lot more.
You think it's like red zone? Because it seemed like y'all get yardage. It's just like
I think it's partly a red zone problem. Being hurt. I mean, offensive lines play well. Quinn with the hobbled ankle, of course, that was after the Kentucky game. I mean, I'm still not quite sure if he's 100% healthy with the oblique and the ankle, but I did like what I saw against A&M with the arch package. I thought we could have utilized that more in the red zone to get some yardage. Maybe do like a power run, but arch throws back to pass or something. Keep them on their toes. But the red zone offense has to get better if we want to make a run in the playoff.
I don't know if y'all don't realize this, but Georgia's defense consists of grown ass men, and their secondary is not the best, but their front four and those linebackers they have over there, they're going to play in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean
and you just can't go in there and just abuse a team like Georgia. You can't just do what you did to A&M in the run game. Stuff like that you can't do against certain
teams. Yeah, I mean, they definitely won the line of scrimmage again.
As many yards as Texas put up against Georgia, it says something.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just common sense. Anybody that knows football will say that.
It says exactly what you just said. The strength is in the front four. They held you to 30 yards rushing, and then you throw for 350 yards, and you can't get in the end zone. So what good does that do? You can't get.
What do you mean? What good does it do? You play a great football game. You play great defensively. You play decent on the offense, and you drop a big game. But at the end of the day, it's part of football. You're going to win some. You're going to lose some. But at the end of the day, what matters the most is that Texas is going to play in the fucking playoffs, and you worry about Clemson now. You're not worried about last week. You're worried about Clemson now.
I'd be real
That's
worried
part
about
of it. That's just football. That is just how the game is played. Most people realize that. You don't worry about last week. Yeah, you got your ass kicked. You lost the ball game. Get ready for Clemson. Strap your pads up. Put your damn helmets up. Go hit them in the mouth. Go hit Arizona State in the mouth. And whoever else you got to hit the damn mouth. And go play for a national championship. You're not going to play for a bullshit-ass bowl game. That is what football is about. It's about winning championship. It ain't about just fucking lining up and playing a mediocre damn bowl game. That's what it's all about. That is what it's about.
He's not bothered by you, though, Trey.
The SEC championship, guess what?
He's not worried about it.
Championship. But guess what? You still got a chance to go play for a goddamn national championship.
Mike Brown Davis can, but not his.
This is why we play.
That's what it's about. Michael Tabb made a great deal. An SEC championship would have been nice, but we've been working for a national championship.
I think that's what you have to say after you lose the SEC championship.
Trey, shut the hell up. Like, shut up. Respectfully.
I'm just saying, respectful.
Hey, Florida and Texas next year in the SEC championship is going to hit like crack.
Oh,
we may have to go.
It's so great. It's going to be so
Manning versus Lagway, a rematch of the swamp after we whip that ass.
Oh.
Y'all have the same schedule, this flipped, right, Trey?
Everybody does in the SEC. I think it's just flipped.
Yeah.
Yeah, the way how big they've gotten, that's what they're doing now. No, I mean it's.
Well,
I got a steak in there waiting on. You got any other shit you want to talk about?
What's Clemson's strong suit?
What's their strong suit?
you would think it's defense, but statistically, they're not that great against the run. And you think about Clemson under like Deshaun and Trevor Lawrence, and how they had some dudes on that defense, but it's not. I mean, they're not that great against the run, and
They run the ball pretty good though, huh?
I'll take Quinn in our receiving core against them. I mean, offensively, what's he doing?
He's talking shit.
But I mean, they do like to run the ball with Phil Maffa. He's one of the best running backs in the country.
Oh my god!
But I mean, I'll take our defense against any team in the country. It's one of the best. It's one of the best in the country against the pass. I think it is the best against the pass. I think we're top 10, maybe top 15 against the run. No offense really intimidates me besides maybe Oregon. Ohio State's we're not very good on offense. I'm not scared of Will Howard.
See, the thing about Oregon is where Oregon uses their advantage in the Big Ten and the teams they play, they use their speed. They have the speed. But one thing Texas is blessed to have is speed on the defensive side of the ball. So you put speed on speed, it's going to be a great matchup. Oregon has probably the best offense in college football, if not the best offense. SMU is a great football team, and they play Clemson. That's a pretty good football team. They came back and, they lost on a, kick return. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters. What matters is what's going to happen next Saturday. You strap your pads up, put your helmet on, go hit you on the day.
No, we play the 21st at 3 o'clock.
Where's your popcorn?
Oh, it's on my birthday. Stop playing on my birthday.
I guess we touched a little bit on the Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I think we did.
Again, I mean, Oregon.
It was about Boise State. Yeah, Jimmy's running the damn ball up everybody's mouth. But guess what? They ain't playing no damn body. But you don't want to talk about that. You still think he deserves the Heisman?
I think the Heisman should wait till after the playoffs. They should account for that too.
Why? You're going to have some guy out there that can't have a chance to play in the playoffs. That just has an absolute freak season.
You should take the full resume, and this is where the real meaningful football's at.
It ain't never been like that. Why change it now? If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Well, that's my opinion. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Something is broke. Because if Genty goes off and runs for 150 versus in the playoff or something, I mean, that changes shit.
Should we pull up the bracket and talk about the playoff?
Yeah, 150.
Hey, the good news for y'all is Clemson and Texas have two terrible special teams units. S&P Plus has Clemson ranked 99th in the country, and then Texas is ranked 115th.
Not ideal.
So, first game at the top, give me the Horns, give me Tennessee, give me SMU, give me Notre Dame. Then I'm going to take the Horns. Then I'm going to take Oregon. Then I'm going to take SMU.
SMU making a run, okay.
And then I'm going to take.
SMU's not beating.
I'm going to take Georgia, and then I'm going to take the Horns against Oregon, and then I'm going to take SMU over Georgia.
If SMU beats Georgia, I'll be pissed. If SMU can beat Georgia, but we can't, what the hell?
You give me Georgia over SMU. You give me the Horns over Oregon, and we go play Georgia in the national championship, and you give me the Horns.
Okay. Cole, you want to take a stab at it?
All right, we're just giving our full bracket predictions right now, or we're just talking about the first round.
I will say one thing. I mean, Oregon goes undefeated, beats Ohio State, wins the Big Ten, beats Penn State, and they're rewarded with a kind of a gauntlet of a stretch. They would have to play the winner of they have to play Tennessee, Ohio State.
They have to beat them.
I think they'll probably have to play Texas.
Yeah, Tennessee, Ohio State, and then Texas, and then what? The Georgia has to play Indiana or Notre Dame.
I don't know.
And then Boise State or Penn State. I don't know. It's kind of fucked up. I think the automatic buys. I think if you win the conference championship, you should be in like the March Madness, but I don't think you should get a top 4 seed.
It's like the 1 seed in the NCAA bracket. I mean, you play a 16 seed, then you play like the winner of the 8-9 game. The 1 seed is pretty much guaranteed to the Sweet 16.
Yeah. It should be exactly like March Madness, just not a lot of teams.
Would y'all rather see the elimination of the top 4 and just have like is it auto bids, or would you rather have like the BCS determine the top 12?
I want 16, but with the BCS determining it.
I'm fine with that, and like have auto bids for the conference champions, and just have them seeded based on the BCS.
What's the difference between the BCS and
computer?
The BCS is roughly kind of how they had it structured. I mean, or at least I guess the playoff. I bet what they're probably doing behind the scenes is using the BCS.
It's like straight statistic type shit that they come up.
I forget. It's been a while what they did.
It's like some big computer algorithm that you put in all the team stats and they pump out the top 25 teams every week. It's not. It is. There's not a person behind it, but. I think the BCS is still probably used in that committee.
Because the reason people went away from the BCS was because they disagree with the top 2. Because it used to be the top 2 plays for the national title, whereas like I think of the one year when Notre Dame played Alabama, and we all knew Alabama was about to stomp on them.
Yeah.
And rarely is the number 2 team in the country favored over the number 1, but Alabama was favored by 2 touchdowns against that Manti Te'o team.
That was the
That was the year A&M. That was the year Johnny won the Heisman, and Notre Dame went undefeated because they don't ever play anybody. And then Alabama had won the SEC. I can't remember who else was really good that year. Maybe
Remember Florida beat
possibly Oregon. I don't know.
Florida was not
Oklahoma was good,
good.
but no,
2012 Oklahoma.
they made it to Cotton Bowl. We beat them 49-17, but
I think that was Landry Jones. He's a janitor.
Are you freaking kidding me?
But yeah, Cole, give us your prediction.
So I got we'll go top to the bottom. So I got Texas winning first game. I got Ohio State beating Tennessee. No way Ryan Day is going to lose that game. If he does, he's out of there. He knows he's coaching for a job.
You know, Ryan Day's never beat an SEC team.
I can see that. I got Penn State beating SMU, no doubt. I got Notre Dame beating Indiana by at least 14. And then I got Texas beating Arizona State. I got Oregon beating Ohio State. I got Penn State beating Boise State in a close game, I feel like, maybe. I don't know shit about Boise State other than Ashton Jeanty can run the ball. And then Georgia beating Notre Dame in a closer one. And then I got Oregon beating Texas. Georgia beating Penn State, and Oregon, Georgia, and then Oregon winning. I got Oregon, Dylan Gabriel, and that offense leading them to. Even though that defense looked a little suspect last week, that kind of made me a little uneasy. I feel like they got the power to take it to the chip. Dan Lanning gets a championship for him.
I got
Probably one of my favorite. If Dan Lanning's probably one of my favorite coaches, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm obviously taking the Horns over Clemson. I could see that game being a lot closer than I think it should be. Tennessee, Ohio State's interesting. Ryan Day's got his back up against the wall. Ohio State's coming off that bad showing against Michigan where they could not move the ball against them. Tennessee's got one of the best front sevens in the country with James Pierce and the other linebackers and defensive line.
Doesn't Tennessee have some injuries or something?
They may. I'm not sure. I mean, as far as quarterbacks, I'm taking Nico over Will Howard.
That's fair.
Go back to the.
My bad.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking Nico over Will Howard. You saw what Ohio State did against Michigan's defense. I mean, Will Howard's not that great of a quarterback.
He's a terrible quarterback.
I'm taking Tennessee to cover, and I think Tennessee wins. SMU, Penn State, I'm taking Penn State. SMU going to Happy Valley in the freezing cold, Big Ten whiteout game at night. I don't think SMU has the horses to match up well against Penn State. They're probably going to run the ball down their throat. I'm going to take an upset here. I'm going to take Indiana over Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I think their toughest game of the year was probably A&M in Kyle Field, and they lose to NIU. I just can't trust a team that's lost to NIU, so I'm going to Indiana.
Did they not beat Ohio State?
Notre Dame?
Didn't they?
No. Top bracket, Arizona State and Texas and Atlanta. Arizona State played well in the Big 12 championship. I like what they do with Scatterbo and the run game they have. I don't think he would do much against the Horns with the defense. Arizona State's defensively, I don't know much about them, but I don't think they're world beaters. So I like the Horns to get over them.
Keep forgetting my share screen. My bad.
Tennessee against Oregon. I'm going to go with another upset here. I think Tennessee is going to beat Oregon in the Rose Bowl. I just saw that Penn State ran for 300 yards against them and, were able to put yards up on them, even though Oregon was up most of the game. So I'm going to go Tennessee there. I'm gonna take Penn State over Boise for the same reasons they beat SMU. Better athletes, better talent, better defense. I think they shut down Ashton Genty and move on. Georgia over Indiana. I mean, I watched Georgia twice this year. Front seven's elite. Some of the best defensive tackles in the country, but good linebackers. That would lead Tennessee and Texas. I'm going with the real UT. I'm going with the Horns. Best pass defense in the country. Nico not going to do anything, so I'm going with the Horns. Georgia
is sitting there looking.
Georgia and Indiana. Georgia, Penn State.
Yeah.
With Gunnar Stockton. I know they said Carson Beck's out for the first round. I don't think he's coming back for the same reasons we talked about earlier. I don't think he's coming back from that arm injury.
I was going to ask if you think they can win a national championship with him at quarterback.
Yes.
I think they could.
They can, but it's going to be a little harder.
I think
It's
they
gonna be
can.
harder, but I don't think Carson Beck is just that big of an impact at your quarterback position.
I mean,
You know,
Beck was so turbulent. I mean, so inconsistent. I mean, Gunnar Stockton is much more of a
They moved the ball better when Gunnar Stockton was in the game to me.
yeah, because he had his his legs to worry about. But I think Georgia that would be played. So the semifinals are going to be the Cotton Bowl and the Orange Bowl. I think if the Horns make it to the Final Four, then I think we'll be in the Cotton Bowl. But regardless, I mean, I think I got Georgia squeaking out a win against Penn State. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's like 20-17. So I got Texas and Georgia in a rematch, and I got the Horns winning in the trilogy to win the national title.
Okay.
I'm done. You're the last one.
Who the hell is JJ?
Trey said, "Give me Clemson."
No, I mean, I think Texas should win that game. So I'll go Texas. And then I'm taking Ohio State over Tennessee. It's just that Oregon. That just sucks. Give me Penn State, and then Notre Dame. I have no faith in Indiana at all. So,
Did you even Google him?
huh?
Did you even Google him?
Who?
Never mind.
Google who?
Never mind.
Okay. Texas beats Arizona State. That should just happen. If it doesn't, that would be. Y'all won't want to record that week.
I'll record rain or shine.
Ohio State, that's going to be a great game. I think Ohio State pulls it out this time.
Versus Oregon?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just have faith in it. It was a classic last time they played, and I think it'll be good. And then I want to take off Penn State so bad, but I mean Boise State. I think Penn State handles that. I think they're just more physical, and they've got better dudes on the other side of the ball. Like Boise State's going to be able to run the ball, but it's going to be not great for them holding anything up. Very good. And then Georgia handles Notre Dame, no problem. Gunnar Stockton is probably it pushes that team over the edge, and they win it. I mean, they're going to be really good with him. I mean, he adds a different level that Carson Beck didn't
Do
have.
you think that once you get film on him like Marcel Reed, that
just not being bad? Carson Beck had a stretch there where he was boo-boo water. Like he threw 11 interceptions and 0 touchdowns in the middle of the season, and no one talked about it because he stopped, and then over 3 games threw like 10 touchdowns and no interceptions. But he just was not great under pressure, and it seemed like in the big spots he just didn't show up that well. Other than the second half of the Alabama game, that was kind of his best performance, but they still lost. So, yeah, it adds a wrinkle too. It lets them play more into the athleticism. Like this isn't A&M running the ball. I know you're talking about getting film on Marcel Reed and A&M, but it's still not A&M's offensive line, and it's not Trevor Etienne. Like they still are.
He's not even 100. He's not even 100%.
Travis is not. No, or Trevor, whichever one they are. I don't really care because he Trevor.
Florida legend.
Yeah, he's so good. And then Texas over Ohio State. And then I'll take Georgia over Penn State. And
You
then
got a
I'll take
rematch too.
Texas over Georgia.
Wait, what did he just say? Did he just say Texas is going to win the national title?
I think so.
We're the only ball knower on the podcast. Who
Did
said
Trey just say that Texas is going to win the national title?
Sounds like a Texas fan told him that. Yeah, I think he did.
Did I hear that right?
I did. You know, I've jinxed a lot of people this year. Hopefully, it doesn't happen to you guys.
What makes you think Texas can win the national title?
Nothing.
You're just doing that to spite me. No, I do have a question for y'all. If Ohio State doesn't make it to the semis, is Ryan Day gone?
No,
I think he's gone.
no.
He can win one game and still stay.
Yeah, if he makes it, if he beats Tennessee, loses to Oregon, it's
I
just
still think it's iffy if he loses to Tennessee because
I think first round, it's for sure he's gone.
oh, it's like there's nobody out there better than him, and you got to think about that recruiting class he just.
and the transfer portal's already open.
You know how many kids he would lose? They would lose if he
It's
left.
still Ohio State.
It doesn't matter though. You got to think about all those kids he's been recruiting. Like that kid from North Shore, the defensive back, the 5-star. He's been committed to Ohio State since his.
So it shouldn't matter who's coaching.
No, it shouldn't matter.
They would lose a lot of that roster to the transfer portal too.
I think Ohio State fans would
Like
post
saying
that
if
out
Sark
there.
gets beat by Clemson, do you think they fire Sark?
Much different scenario, much different context, Jalen.
Not
Yes,
necessarily.
yes.
You can't fire the guy from Lucian because he lost to Michigan.
you
He still
can.
made the playoffs.
You absolutely can't. It wouldn't be the first time.
Who do you go get? Who is out there right now that's worth candidate?
Why are
to
we
go?
talking about these hypotheticals about who we go get?
Hypothetical.
You do that every
It's
time.
a question you have to ask that. If you fire somebody, you got to replace them with somebody, Trey.
Really? Is that how it works?
No, that ain't how it works.
I know you have to replace him, but sometimes you're just sick and fucking tired of losing to Michigan. So you go
But who do you think's out there that can get him
They'll
over
deal with that
hump?
later.
Mike Vrabel. There you go. There's your answer. And that should be the only answer.
Bill Belichick.
Ryan Day will be at Ohio State no matter what happens.
See Bill Belichick interviewed at North Carolina.
Yeah, he's not.
I don't see Bill Belichick fitting it in the college era right now.
I can see it.
Too much
He was
drama,
like-
too much NIL
Yeah, I can
drama.
see it, but I couldn't see it at North Carolina.
He was like giving a pitch on Pat McAfee's show, like what his program would look like in college and shit. But I don't
I
know.
don't know.
I don't know if we deal with the transfer portal well.
I don't know. Are we just assuming Notre Dame can't make a run and win the national title?
Yes. Yeah.
I am.
I think everybody.
Who can win the national title? Georgia,
Ohio
Oregon, Ohio State. I think Tennessee can make a run and win.
Nah.
If they get, I mean, it's like in the NCAA tournament. If you get
Yeah,
hot,
they
at
really
the-
haven't played anybody, and they lost to Tennessee. They lost to Arkansas, so they're really not that good of a football team. So they really don't belong there because they lost to Arkansas, and they really just haven't played anybody.
They beat Bama.
Yeah.
Bama didn't make the playoffs, so they're not even that
They
good.
beat Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah, Oklahoma, they're not that good, even though they beat Bama, but they're not that good.
Oklahoma's not that good.
We're not that good.
Yeah, they did beat Bama. So.
They're not
I
that
mean,
good. though.
SMU.
They're not ranked, so it doesn't matter just because they beat Bama because they're not ranked. It doesn't
Bama is
matter.
ranked.
It doesn't mean anything out there. It was just a
Bama
fluke.
is
ranked?
ranked though.
Who's ranked?
Oklahoma's not. I'm saying Oklahoma's not ranked, so it doesn't matter. Like them winning that game does not mean anything. No, it doesn't mean anything. They're just a horrible football team because they're not ranked.
They're not great.
Yeah, because they're not ranked. They beat Alabama.
It's ranked wins.
No, and Texas beat Oklahoma and Alabama lost them, so they're really not that good then. That's just how you got to put it out there nowadays. It's just
we beat all the teams we were supposed to.
Just because they don't have a number beside their name, they're not that good of a football team. It's just how it is. So Bama is really not that good because if we would have scheduled Bama, we would have beat Bama and they would have lost to Oklahoma. You didn't beat anybody; they lost to Oklahoma.
The goalposts always move, Jalen. It's almost like we beat Alabama last year on the road.
Yeah, but that didn't mean anything because we weren't in the SEC yet, and it didn't mean anything. No, that didn't mean it was a fluke.
But they've always graded people on ranked wins.
That does not mean anything. Just because Notre Dame beat A&M and lost to Northern Illinois and they're still in the playoff, they're not that good of a football team. You know why? Because that team that they beat didn't have a fucking ranking at the end of the season by their name, but they still lost to Northern Illinois. Let's talk about that.
That's what they were just saying. They said Notre Dame can't win that.
It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean anything. You know what? Tennessee should not be in the playoffs because they lost to Arkansas, who's not a ranked team. But guess what? Texas beat them. Let's talk about that. But no, Texas ain't playing nobody.
Who lost to Vanderbilt? Who Texas beat?
Bama lost to Oklahoma.
Bama is ranked.
It don't mean shit. It don't mean anything because they don't have a number by their fucking name. Yeah, that's how college football is now.
That's how it usually always is.
Yeah, you beat Florida and they go on a tear on the last couple games of the season, but that don't mean shit because you put 49 on them and they didn't have DJ Lagway because I forgot DJ Lagway plays defensive line, linebacker, safety, cornerback.
No, that's just Travis Hunter that plays all those other.
No, that's just no. Yeah, keep making excuses. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean nothing.
You're just kind of reaffirming my point.
Yeah, it don't mean that Texas should not be in the playoffs because they didn't play anybody. They lost to Georgia twice.
If you go based off of resumes.
Yeah, based off resumes, they don't belong.
Although we beat all the teams that upset all those other teams. So, I don't know.
You didn't beat any.
David, it does not mean anything.
Yeah, I don't know why I think Texas can win that. They're a Big 12 team in the SEC. I mean, let's face it, they're just a Big 12 team with an SEC logo on their hats.
Yeah, they went and played an SEC championship in their first year. It does not mean anything.
Jalen, it was a fluke. It was a fluke.
You know what?
You
know what? Texas should go be in the fucking MAC.
I think we should restart the Pac-12. I think we should go there.
Yeah, because they do not belong in the SEC because they scheduled Michigan out the gate. Oh, but Michigan's not good, but they beat Ohio fucking State. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about all those games. But it don't mean nothing when Texas does it.
What if we just go play Oregon State 12 times?
It doesn't mean anything.
Well, I mean, the committee put SMU over Alabama, so it really doesn't matter.
They deserved it. SMU deserved it.
It really don't matter who you play.
I mean, of course, you cannot, like we talked about earlier, you can't take SMU out for, what did that say?
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one. You beat Vanderbilt. You know what they did? They beat Alabama, but it don't mean shit. It don't mean nothing because they didn't put up enough points. Kiss my ass. Who else?
What he said.
I mean, you got in the playoff. I don't know why you're.
They don't deserve to be in the playoffs, Cole.
No, we're talking about ranking. We're not talking about not in the playoffs.
They didn't deserve to go to the SEC championship because they didn't play anybody because they told Michigan to be sorry this year. But guess what? Michigan
Why are you
beat
so
Ohio
hot?
State.
Yeah.
You said Trey wasn't going to get on your skin.
It's not getting under my skin. I'm just explaining how college football is nowadays. That is
obviously not. Y'all are ranked at 5.
We don't deserve to be there, Cole. We didn't play anybody.
Yeah,
but
Jalen, we didn't just walk into the big house and crush Michigan.
Michigan's not good this year. They are not good this year. They accidentally beat Ohio State. They're not good this year.
Michigan isn't good this year.
They can't throw the ball.
They beat Ohio State.
Football team.
That don't mean they're good.
They're not.
You got to be a good team to beat Ohio State.
Hey, Didn't Kentucky beat Ole Miss?
Laid a fucking egg.
Yeah, and who beat
Ole
Kentucky?
Miss is not good this year. They're not in the playoffs. They're not ranked. Ole Miss is not good this year.
Is Mississippi State good?
They are horrible. Ole Miss is horrible.
Is Mississippi State good?
No. Even though they played Georgia and A&M close, no. They are horrible. They suck. They deserve to fire everybody.
Is Kentucky good?
No.
Oklahoma good?
No. Oklahoma sucks. They don't have a number beside their name, even though they beat Alabama.
Is Vanderbilt good?
Hell no. They are horrible. Got lucky this year.
Is Arkansas good?
Fuck no. They just accidentally beat Tennessee. It was just an accident. I think maybe Tennessee's, play callers and stuff kind of like maybe took an edible or got drunk before the game. So that's the excuse why they didn't win.
Is Florida any good?
Fuck no. Hell no. Florida is not good. Even though they run at the end, no.
Huh?
Even though they beat Ole Miss, Ole Miss is not good, so it doesn't count.
He doesn't at all. So you're telling me everybody you played in the SEC is not good?
No, nobody's good. Nobody you played was good this year. We just had the easiest schedule in college football, and we just got so lucky because we just scheduled all. We did, you know why we made this schedule? Because Sark had a meeting with the college football the college football committee, and they were like, "Look, you schedule Michigan, they're not going to be good next year. You schedule Oklahoma, they're going to be terrible." That's why we did that. They gave us the easy way in. They did that for us. They wanted us to come in and be able to say, you know what? Texas came in the SEC and went to the first SEC championship game their first year. That's why they did. They helped us out.
It's all a conspiracy.
It's all made up. College football is made up. It's all made up for the gambling lines. So whoever puts their money on the underdog wins big and pay their mortgage.
That's why we're going to the national title.
Y'all should have thrown more bottles on the fucking field at SC.
Yeah. That's the only reason. That's the only reason that play was overturned.
That could have done it.
Some are saying that I was throwing bottles.
Matthew McConaughey sold his soul to the Illuminati, and that was one of his respects. He got that. He got that paid back when he sold his soul.
Yep.
That's he told me that. He called me. He told me that.
You got Matthew McConaughey's number?
Yeah. Don't tell anybody because you know what? If we win the national championship, David joined the Illuminati and sold his soul.
I would. I would sell my soul and for us to win the national title, and then I'd become a defense attorney.
Yep.
Be a perfect transition.
You want to ask is good? I'll talk about it.
You want to touch on any other bowl games?
No, because those teams that are playing in bowl games, they're not good. So, we don't deserve to talk about those teams.
They won half their games.
But it doesn't mean anything because a lot of them don't have a number by their name anymore, so they're really not relevant.
The way the transfer portal works, they really aren't at this
Well,
point.
you see, the transfer portal doesn't mean anything because you bring those guys in and you make yourself better. But just because it doesn't work out, that team is not relevant anymore.
When has ranked wins been such a topic?
All the kids that got in the transfer portal.
You got to think about what's categorized as a good win compared to a bad win when you beat a ranked team.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't mean anything anymore for Texas and the SEC.
Well, I mean,
if you don't beat Georgia every week, it don't mean shit.
All right, well, I'm getting hungry.
I'm ready to sign off.
Well, thank you to all our followers, subscribers, everybody viewing tonight. Just want to let you know, Texas is a fluke. They do not deserve to be where they're at. And have a great day. See you later.